AI is something the big guys do, but as you were kind of saying, you don't necessarily have to be massive to benefit from AI with what you're talking about. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. The AI has become such a buzzword, almost a loaded word today, where it means everything and nothing at the same time.
Now, Shanif, I wanted to have you back to show us the inside of Apteo and what it could do. Do you mind pulling it up and sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for having me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'll walk you through first. I've zoomed in here. Usually the site's not this big. So I'm going to zoom in here and walk you through one account. So it's a cosmetics company. They sell things like face lotion, skincare, skin creams, things like that. The most relevant part of Apteo is right here on the segments tab. So this is a web app, works well with Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce. This account here is a Shopify account. So they've basically set up their store on Shopify, and they've got a couple of thousand customers, which is sort of right around where we would like to start seeing people be when it comes to using Apteo. Now, what you're looking at here on the segments page, we're starting out with what we call cross-sell recommendations or cross-sell segments. Now, the whole point behind Apteo is to really make your marketing more precise so that you can drive more sales. One of the ways to do that is to figure out the products that each person is likely to buy. And that's kind of what you're seeing here. You have a group of segments, and these segments are grouped by product, and they contain a list of people who are most likely to buy this product. So for example, here you can see the product that most people are likely to buy is this face moisturizer, which sells pretty well in the store. But you can go down through all of the different products in the store. And if you look at the product that's kind of at the bottom, you've got about 100 people who are likely to buy this face cleanser and everything in between. And the whole idea is, again, you show people the thing that they want to buy the most, and you can start to drive more sales because it's more personalized for them. So here at the top, you've got cross-sell recommendations. But we also do this for collections and categories. So in addition to just predicting the products that people are most likely to buy, we'll go through your store and we'll predict the collections that people are, they have the most affinity for. And so you're seeing those segments here, collection segments or collection recommendations. You can go through, you can actually go through and create your own segments like this customer has done here. And we'll also go through and we'll pull additional groups of segments around people, for example, who may have only bought one time, who might be at risk, even things like who might be your top future spenders. That's something that we'll forecast. So most important part of Apteo are all of these segments. And I'll talk about what you can do with these now. So there's a couple of use cases for segments. Now, the first use case maybe is around analytics, metrics, and understanding, just getting up to speed with what your customers are doing. So for example, if you click on a segment, you'll get information about, what's their worth to you. We'll predict the customer lifetime value for every customer. We'll aggregate it across segments. We'll show you sort of what their discount usage is. We'll show you what have they purchased in the past. So you've got a group of people and you want to know what they bought in the past. We'll also show you what they're likely to buy in the future. So even if you're looking at a group of people who are likely to buy one product, that may not be the only product that they're likely to buy. And then finally, we'll kind of go through and show you what we call a product journey, which is essentially the order in which people bought certain products in their first order, their second order, their third order. So this is basically all information. You can look at this and compare how this breaks down across your big spenders versus your one-time purchasers. It's all really interesting. But where most people are using these segments is with automated marketing. So what does that look like? You can actually take these audiences, these segments on Apteo and sync them over to your existing marketing tools. For example, Klaviyo, Postscript, even Facebook, Instagram. We've got a couple of different integrations here that you can go with. Now, once these segments are on your marketing tools, not only will we keep them up to date, we'll add people and remove people, but we'll make it easy for you to set up campaigns that target these people with whatever messaging they should be targeted with. So what does that look like? Well, maybe if you're on Klaviyo, you might want to personalize your emails. There's a few ways to do this. Maybe you're targeting a group of big spenders and you want to give them a big offer, something like, hey, spend $100 and get free shipping. Well, we'll send this segment over to your Klaviyo account and you can target them. So if I pull up an example, let's say Klaviyo email here, this is a coffee company. It's a different one, still one that we've worked with. Another way you can personalize your segments is by using what we call dynamic product images or product placeholders. Now you might say Klaviyo already has this. Yep, they do. But we found that a lot of our clients like the alternatives that we provide them because it works pretty well in driving sales. So let's say you're somebody, you've got this, this email here, you leave placeholders. What you can then do is, let's see if I can bring up somebody who's got a profile where these are filled in. Let's say, let's try this person here. Yeah, so what happens is once you have a profile for someone, you can then use these dynamic placeholders to fill in dynamically the products that they're most likely to buy next. And this tends to do pretty well with driving sales. You can also use these segments on your Facebook ads manager. So you can do things like creating lookalike audiences where people are likely to buy a certain product, create audiences of people maybe who are big spenders. And this is a really good strategy for coming up with new customers. Take your list of Apteo big spenders, send it over to Facebook, create a lookalike audience, target them. This tends to have positive ROAS almost all the time. And so you can see here that, obviously on the product itself, you have different segments, different tools, things that you can use to understand your customers. But really where it shines is how it interfaces with your existing marketing tools. In general, we're happy to provide a couple of case studies here. You can go to our website, just go to Apteo case studies. You'll find a couple of case studies. We've done all sorts of things. We've dropped CPMs by 50%, increased ROAS by 2 or 3x. Apteo's revenue sometimes accounts for anywhere from 10 to 15% of a whole store sales. We also have this page here for free trials where we can start to quantify some of the metrics we've done. So you can see here, increase of 38% in CTR, 7.5% in terms of revenue attributable to Apteo, growing return on ad spend from less than 1 to above 1. So really what we're trying to do is take all the hard work that you as a marketer are doing, make it easier and make it more efficient by helping you create more personalized campaigns. Now I'll pause here. We do have one other piece in terms of analytics, which we call predictive analytics. I'll pause here though. Egan, any questions on this? This makes sense, hopefully.
Yeah, this is great to see, and it's very helpful to see these specific examples. But I kind of see as are you helping clients and customers optimize for customer lifetime value? Is that one way to think about the optimization?
That's actually the core of how we started thinking about all this. One of the first things we did with AI was we would actually go through and predict the customer lifetime value for every customer, so that you can start to see how different customers are beneficial or maybe not so beneficial to you. And then when you start adding in things like product recommendations or segmentation, you can start to see how the lifetime value increases for these people. So you're absolutely right. We think about this all in terms of customer lifetime value. The stores, a brand's biggest enemy is maybe not biggest enemy, but a brand's biggest sort of weak point are people who only buy one time. And so if you can get somebody to buy more than once, you're well on your way to getting them to be worth more to your store. That's actually one thing that that's a good lead into. One of the analytics that we provide are what is the value of a repeat purchaser versus a one-time purchaser. For most of our stores, this is something like I said, we predict across all your customers. For most of our store, it's anywhere from 8 to 10x more valuable to have a repeat customer than a one-time customer. So long answer to your question, Egan, but hopefully that helps.
That makes sense. That's why we work with clients on Klaviyo. Of you paid for the ads to get them to buy from you once, and you don't want to pay for that again. You want to keep bringing them back to your store, get them in the habit of buying from you, and you don't want to have to pay cost per acquisition every time. So
it's so true and so important. And it's funny because brand owners don't always think that way. They're like, I got to get more customers. I got to get more customers. But if you just focus even a little bit more on your existing customers, you could drive sales by 5 or 10x higher, especially if you're focusing on the group of big spenders and loyal customers that you've got.
It's really discovering that 80-20. What are the opportunities within your previous customers? That makes a lot of sense. You have to imagine, Amazon and the big players, they're looking at this data. They're doing predictive analytics like this all the time. And you guys are basically giving a tool to, smaller and medium direct to consumer brands to do some of this themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We think that small brands, it's been hard for smaller brands to use data, and now it's, we just want to help them grow their sales. Like there's nothing like the feeling of seeing somebody generate a sale from a segment campaign that we help them create, or seeing people, really respond well to a really high quality email campaign. So we think now it's a good time for brands to do it, and we want to make it as easy as possible.
Love to see it. So when people are using Apteo, then does it kind of become the marketer's job to build out those Klaviyo or PostScript flows of, okay, here are the opportunities, here's the segmentation, let's just make sure everything looks good, and then you're sending those customized messages? Is that kind of what the marketer's job becomes when they're using Apteo?
To a big extent, it's very much like, if you were maybe spending a bunch of time trying to understand what to send out or what numbers that you should be following before, now you just look at the reports, you look at the groups of people who are likely to buy certain products, and you set up campaigns and flows to those people. And you can even do it in a set it and forget it mode, where, anytime somebody joins that segment of big spenders or segment of people who are likely to buy the face moisturizer, you automatically send out an email to them. Or you could set this up so that you can come up with campaign ideas and you send out a campaign once every 2 weeks. We've seen that work really well. Or you could do both, where you as a marketer now get to decide, how should I use this information to best drive sales? We would recommend doing a combination of setting it and forgetting it across different channels like Facebook, like Klaviyo, like PostScript, like Attentive, where you take your segments and you set up campaigns or flows, and anytime somebody enters a segment, they're automatically sent an email. But then we'd also recommend sending out a repeat message once a week, once every couple of weeks, so that people don't forget about you, and so that you're sending out things that people are interested in buying. And if your repeat messages have really good information or quips or witty commentary or content in conjunction with the products that people like, you're going to be in good shape in terms of driving sales.
Yeah, that's great. I can see how a marketer would never have time to slice and dice this data and figure out customer bought X product, now they're going to most likely buy Y product. So you guys really give a big leg up there. I know, like you sort of showed, Klaviyo says, oh, other people like this product, but in this case, it's really just for you. It's like, this is truly customized. Customers also bought this. That's really just extremely valuable. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
If you're really, really interested in data, you have the ability to dive into all sorts of interesting analytics. One of our favorite pages here is the product analytics page. I'll scroll down to this section here, bundles and frequently bought together. We'll provide information at a higher level about what people are buying together, regardless of segmentation or behavior. Just taking a look at your store. What are the things people are buying together? Now, what we've seen people do with this information is take these products and combine them into a single SKU. And the effect of doing that is actually, you can raise your average order value anywhere from like 8% to 10%. Just by taking 2 minutes, creating a brand new product that's a bundle of these multiple products that are frequently bought together. And also to sort of supplement this, we have all sorts of analytics around what people are buying in terms of your categories, your collections. And then just like we have at the segment level, we will have product journeys across your whole store. So all sorts of really interesting information here. If you're a data junkie, you really like diving into the analytics, we'll give you interesting information about who your customers are, whether they're male or female, what's their expected income brackets, and where do they live in terms of geography. So, we're seeing that different people are using Apteo in different ways. Most of them are using it for automatic segmentation. A lot of people are using it for analytics. Coming down the pipeline in 2022, you will now be able to set up campaigns for yourself automatically. So it's one of the beta features that we're working on, but the idea is we'll recommend exactly the campaigns that exactly each person should receive. You can then go in and create a campaign, and with a couple of button clicks, set it up on Facebook, set it up on email, and sort of make your life a lot easier. So we got a lot of stuff, interesting stuff planned for the coming year. But I think that pretty much covers it for the most part.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. And I'm excited to see how you guys develop this further too. Very exciting.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you again, Egan. I really appreciate the time. For any of your listeners who are interested in trying this out, we are offering an extended free trial for your listeners. So normally we have a 7-day free trial. We'll push that out. And on top of that, we actually help you get set up because I know marketers don't have a lot of time. So our team will help you actually create the campaigns from our data that will move the needle, and will actually contribute $20 to your campaigns. So, for anyone listening to your podcast, that offer is there. All you have to do is go to apteo.co, apteo.co. Let us know that you heard this podcast, and we'll get you set up.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Shanif Dhanani from Apteo. Thank you for coming on. We'll have to have you on again sometime.
Absolutely. Would love it. Thanks, Egan. Really appreciate it.